Hello, hello. Is this thing on? So I was going to wait until after my immune system was done being sick to record this, but capitalism waits for no man, and I accidentally monetized one of my passions, and now I'm beholden to the marketplace of content and the ever-demanding algorithm. What does that mean? I'm just going to pop a Sudafed real quickly, and then we'll get going. And with that, I wanted to mention that this video is sponsored by my white blood cells, which are absolutely fucking raging right now. Just kidding, it's actually sponsored by Wealthfront. Wealthfront is a wonderful, beautiful, automated investing app. I've been good about not fooling myself into thinking that I can beat the market by putting my money into individual stocks. And it's reassuring that Wealthfront fully supports that strategy as an automated investing service. Wealthfront software is designed by experts to ensure that your portfolio is managed and rebalanced according to your personal risk tolerance. And if you want a little more say in what you're investing in, they have hundreds of funds to create a portfolio that you're actually excited about, including renewable energy, gender diversity, and more and such and such. Plus, they even have a new socially responsible portfolio that lets you invest in what you believe in just one single click. It's a single app for both your saving and investing, which relieves you of needing to manage and optimize your finances in a ton of different places. And overall, it's just such an approachable way to get a handle on your money. You only need $500 to get started. Plus, with my link, invest.wealthfront.com/Katherout, there are zero management fees for your first $5,000 managed with them. I'll have that link in the description if you're interested. And they just launched a YouTube channel featuring helpful tips about personal finance and deep dives into the product. So go check it out. And thanks again to Wealthfront for supporting the labor hours that I put into this content. All right. So we're going to do a little mid-series wrap-up on my Oversharing in Seattle series because I'm actually about to take a break from making more, just momentarily, to work on some other projects. And before I do so, I wanted to give us this chance to recenter on a lot of what was not said in that series and, in a few words, answer some of your questions. I did want to take a moment to appreciate those of you that have been tuning in and providing such warm feedback to this new sort of style evolution of my content. You've warmed my already very warm heart. It's just been so life affirming, and honestly, we're at this moment, and we've been in this moment where aspirational content is really rewarded on YouTube because it's just more monetizable when you see someone peddling a dream. No one really wants to buy my lifestyle, so it's really reassuring to see the feedback and the comments from you all, truly. So I've pulled up some of the most significant questions that have arisen in you all. I pulled these from the depths of Tumblr.com. Yes, I still use it because I'm quite frankly deranged and refuse to let the 2010s die. So if you're sitting there or standing there or lying there and lamenting the fact that you didn't get to submit your question, you can always leave that in my Tumblr inbox as a follow-up. I have no sense of where to begin, so let's just start with the questions that got the most likes on my community tab. First one being, are you comfortable sharing if what you're looking for in a romantic partner has changed? Also, if you are still using dating apps or just trying to find something organically. Love your new content style. Has what I look for in a partner changed since college? Certainly. Has what I look for changed in the past year or two? Probably not. I'm not on dating apps right now. If I'm being really honest with myself, I'm a little apprehensive to date because of some realizations I've had about my sexuality and how that will manifest itself when I'm in the dating scene. I don't find myself attracted to that many people, so it's been reassuring that I've met a couple of people over my travels these past few weeks that have reminded me that interesting people are out there and it's worth dating some more when I get back to Seattle. I'd love to know if you've started doing any of those imaginative things on your what would I do if capitalism didn't exist list, like trying ceramics or hiking more often. Have you been able to do more of what you enjoy now that you've realized that you simply can? I've got a few creative things on my little list, but I'm so burnt out and exhausted from my 9 to 5 that when I come home from work, I couldn't even imagine getting out my paint set and putting energy into that for another 4 hours, even though I like doing it. Love you. To respond to the last piece of this, I know exactly what you mean. I'm in a book club right now where we're reading The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. Absolutely brain-breaking stuff. Everyone should read it, especially if you don't associate yourself with the word creative. One of the girlies in the book club was talking about how when she's driving home from work, she has the choice of like, do I go to the dance studio and choreograph or do some improv or, work on my next idea, or do I go home and sort of relax from the day? And she's actually found that creatively expressing yourself fills her up much more than going home and watching Netflix and vegging out does. So there's that. Through reading this book, I've actually started sketching, which is a medium I've never associated myself with. I've never thought I was any good at. It never came naturally to me. But it's been really beautiful to like capture memories that way, along with journal entries, is to sort of sketch what I see and capture that. And that's been a really beautiful thing I've taken up. Moving to a new city is a big life change, and I feel like big life changes are often accompanied by other big life changes. Do you think you'll be switching jobs or even careers anytime soon? I'm 23 and I like my full-time job, but I don't love it. I kind of get that vibe from you. How do you rationalize it? Like for me, I want to support my comfortable lifestyle, but at the cost of going to a job I don't love. So I've completely separated my purpose from the way I make a living. Those don't exist in the same circle anymore. Like, I don't look for fulfillment from my labor. I do my job and that's it. To me, if you don't actively hate your job, that's a good place to be at. So if it's just like and not love, don't worry about it, honey. Let's indulge in some rapid fire. When do you have your first kiss? 15. Do you see yourself living on the East Coast? No, I do not. What would have been the best and worst parts of living alone? Best, unapologetically living your lifestyle without being perceived. Worst, no built-in companionship. What are your thoughts on influencers who live pretty consumeristic / materialistic / unattainable for majority of people's lives, and how it is affecting young viewers? Think of all the influencers that live in New York City and spend $500 a week at Revolve and order Uber Eats every day. Love you, bestie. Love you too. Here are some thoughts I've already developed on this topic. Number one, I don't think it's a question of morality. I more so would pin it to lack of education, in that capitalism has conditioned us to be consumers. It requires us to be consumers. There is such a thing as the crisis of overproduction. Like, capitalism does not pay us enough to consume all the things that it's creating. Like, it's untenable. It will not work. That's the whole reason that we have credit cards, is because corporations needed a way for people to keep buying things when the money wasn't there. And et voila, debt was created. Personal debt. When you think about it that way, your relationship to spending and consuming changes a lot. At least mine did. But previously to that, I've made videos on like 10 graduation gift ideas or Christmas hauls or Amazon dorm decor. And I think we see so much Shein, Princess Polly, Amazon content online. It's kind of insidious and backwards, but because it's so accessible, like for once, because of globalization, there are platforms like that where anybody, anywhere can buy off of them. If you make a video featuring all items from a local mom and pop shop, that's not widely accessible. That's not as monetizable, because very few of the people watching the video will actually be able to make a purchase as the result of that video, versus a fast fashion brand where people will click because they know they can actually acquire the things being peddled in that video. If you're trying to be an influencer, you're going to influence a lot more people with an online D2C brand than a smaller medium business. And the algorithm likes that. The algorithm wants people to buy. It's what fuels social media, is the commerciality of it. In my most charitable view of it, it's influencers trying to optimize their content so that it's more widely attainable. However, once I developed some critical thinking skills at the age of 24, I could no longer make that content because I realized that I was capitalism's favorite child. I was doing exactly what the system wanted me to do. I was falling into the trap. And so I am more conscious about what I am selling through these videos. I do acknowledge that like this is a monetized channel. I do have sponsorships, but I do give some thought to the ethical implications of like what I'm serving up here. And I do feel like with every Princess Polly Shein haul, the sinkhole of capitalism gets bigger. And so it does at this point frustrate me, but I also give them some grace. And I also am hopeful that like everyone making that type of content will wake up to the harm that it's causing. What is the current state of your gender and sexual identity? I've come to the realization that the only reason I really identify as a girl or a woman is because I was socialized as a girl. And at this point, it's been 25 years. I don't experience any gender dysphoria. I don't feel any desire to like transform my gender identity. This is a very good, fine, okay place for me. However, I know that if I were not socialized as a girl, that this probably would not be the gender I would end up with. Like, I don't think I would have this gender identity. To me, 5-year-old boy is the best gender. Like, whenever I can channel that in my appearance, that's when I feel best about myself. I do feel like I've had more space to try some things on with my gender, but I don't feel any strong pull, any strong desire to label myself any one way. Sexuality-wise, I'm coming to terms with the fact that I identify and relate to a lot of the asexual experience. Prior to this year, I literally thought the asexual meant that you just are not attracted to people at all. Like, you just don't want to, you know, be anything beyond friends with somebody. And I was like, that's not me. Like, I like being in a relationship. I love love. I'm such a romantically driven person, But that's not what it means. It just means that one part of attraction, sexual attraction, you do not experience. But asexual people can still experience physical attraction, emotional attraction, intellectual attraction, aesthetic attraction, romantic attraction. Like, all of that's still on the table. And so for that reason, I'm like, the math might be mathing. Oh, this is so hard to talk about because I feel like I'm just not going to say the right things here. But like, the way I feel is this way and that way is that. I don't like it when people view me sexually. Okay, that corrupts things for me in a relationship. To actually add the sexual component in there makes things less fulfilling for me, when most other people, that's the ultimate, like, that makes it much more fulfilling for them, is to have sex with their partner. For me, like, all I really want is intimacy. The actual act of it I could go without and never ever miss it, and never ever want that from my partner. And it's always made me feel a little bit broken that part of like the human experience has never really connected with me. I'm certainly still open to the fact that maybe there is someone that's going to come along that I will be sexually attracted to. It's not like I'm closed off to it. It's just that I want to be more open with my partners in the future, that like that's a sensitive area for me. And it's not because I'm sexually repressed. If anything, I've had too much good sex education in my life. I could get into that, but like, that's not it. I think something clicked when I told my 2 best friends that kissing a guy felt like kissing a wall. And they were like, oh, that's exactly how we felt when we kissed guys, because they're both gay. And I was like, but I don't experience sexual attraction towards women either, to my knowledge. So where does that leave me? Like, it kind of just affirmed that, like, I'm not straight in that way. Does that make sense? I do feel like I need to give some more consideration to how I want to explain this to people in a way that I feel comfortable doing so. So that's where I'll leave that. The sun is setting, and so is my brain. I do feel as though I can't do justice to a lot of these topics without speaking ad nauseum. So to that point, I'm going to repurpose a lot of questions in podcast form. I will be starting that back up in Seattle. It'll be very casual, very come as you are. And I'm just deeply indebted to this community for how much connection and light you give my life. I will see you all next time. Thank you so much for watching, and Katherout.